Now, when I start recording, what happens, the beings that I work with, I have to contact before we start one of these journeys. It's polite, it's respectful. I'm always grateful for them, so I acknowledge them every moment of every day. And when we go on a journey, I reconnect with them, ask them to be present, because they do it of free will. They don't deal with money. They're not like people on Earth. They don't have any of the same, how do I put it? The same traps people are caught in on Earth. They weren't born here. They don't step foot on the planet unless they're very highly trained. And when they do, they use technology that if you watch, they sat next to you in a restaurant, you'd never know they weren't from here. They have slightly
Yeah.
bigger eyes than humans on Earth, but you wouldn't see the slightly bigger eyes. You wouldn't notice anything. They're very good at what they do. There's over 80 different races coming to this planet now. People on Earth have no idea at all that this is true. It's very important because what people call disclosure has begun in the United States from the Pentagon. It means they've got two panels set up now. Congress passed laws, so they have a panel of experts and scientists for NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that flies the shuttle, or used to. And then they have one from the NSA, which is a classified organization that works in the government. And they're interviewing people who had direct experience with extraterrestrials, recovered ships, reverse engineered things, and they're talking about this now for the first time in 70 years. Because beings from other worlds have informed leaders on this planet that they have to disclose fully to the people here, or they'll do it for them, which would put leaders in an incredibly dangerous, embarrassing position with people. So this is why they're beginning to disclose, not because of their own free will, but because they realize that, at least they're beginning to realize, that beings that are involved in coming here are not coming here to take over the earth or rule governments or anything like that. They are coming here to protect themselves from us. They're coming here to protect the rest of the universe from our going out in space with these idiotic knuckleheads from China, Russia, United States, thinking they're going to go out and compete for other people's property. This is never going to happen. They're running into a brick wall in a train at high speed, and they don't even know there's no tunnel because space is already occupied by far more advanced races, a human included. They're just way beyond us. So the fact is, we have to humbly, respectfully accept their assistance to change this planet because they know how to do it. People on Earth do not. So this is how the game is really being played that people on Earth don't yet know. If it weren't this way, the people on Earth would have annihilated life here in nuclear war. They tried 12 times. And each time they try that, their launch computers are shut down from space. Not by anybody on Earth. So it's like saying, look, we don't want to interfere in your planet or your governments, but you can't play among the stars with us the way you are. You can do whatever you want, but you're not going to be allowed to do that. There are a bunch of nuclear bombs and rusty casings and missiles that aren't even being used since they were built. When they stopped testing them in the atmosphere, no one's used them. They can't. It's funny, but I don't worry about nuclear war at all. But it's because of what I know. People who don't know are in fear. And fear makes them make decisions that misdirects what they do on Earth. That is why you see the Earth like it is. Because government people, religious people are making decisions based on subconscious fear. And it's always wrong. And in space-time, it has a repercussion. People call it karma or maya. It just means that every action that people put out towards each other and towards animals and towards life every action creates an equal and opposite reaction. It's a teacher. We're supposed to know how to imagine, not in a good way for our family and in a terrorizing way for the present and future at the same time, because it splits our being in half And these two forces collide, neutralize it like a short circuit, grounds the energy into the earth, and people stay stuck here with no memory. That's part of it. The other part is okay, secondary implants come from this word. I didn't make this up. It comes from friends from other worlds. And so when people on earth try to use this work to make money or give it away for free or charge people a lot of money for other courses, they're walking on a very fine razor's edge because they don't know what secondary implants are. They don't know where they are. They don't know how to remove them. They're just trying to make money off of it. I warn you for that, or I caution you, because I don't want you to be fooled and waste a lot of money in foolishness. Why would you want to do that? They're not going to remove anything called implants anyway. They might say this or do mumbo jumbo and you think you're getting some help, but it won't change you. You'll still be the same after spending the money. When we go through what we're going through tonight, what is done is permanent. It isn't reversible. It cannot be reversed. It connects you into the hue in a way where the hue sees you for the first time in perhaps billions of years, source itself. And you make a connection. And then the beings that help you with secondary implant removals are not me. I can do them. I choose not to do them. I was forced into this body when it was 3. I woke up and recovered from all of that. I know what's in the primary implant in me, so it doesn't affect me, but it's not gone. That primary implant has to be removed off planet. That's not necessary in my case right now because there's much other more important work for these beings and their craft to be assigned to do than just take me off world and do that kind of thing, because when we know what's in the primary implant, which comes up after, then it no longer affects us. It becomes a memory. Even terror, torture, and death just becomes a memory. And then higher faculties that have been suppressed because of fear begin to turn on. So your IQ goes up. Your intelligence level goes up. You're able to comprehend this work when you couldn't comprehend it a month ago or a year ago or at all. This is part of the phenomena. I don't want to say phenomena. It's part of the manifestation of what happens. When I introduce you to Shantial and Tonaltial, they are 2 human beings, male and female, mated couple from another world. They're part of the Galactic Alliance. They're master teachers as well. And I don't expect you to understand what a master teacher is, but they're not someone where you sit and worship at their feet. That's earth stuff. They wouldn't tolerate that. Advanced beings don't tolerate that. Earth people need to do that kind of thing because of belief and faith and brainwashing, frankly. That people that do it don't even know they're doing it because they've been brainwashed themselves. So they try to latch on to a way to believe in something that they'll find truth after they die. There's no guarantee of that. I've never seen anybody saved by anyone, supposedly, that's ever come back here to Earth to tell people about it. This is important. No one's dead. No one dies. But people remain ignorant and unconscious, many lives in a row. They cannot be killed because you're spherical energy. You're not this. This is a biological machine in a way, DNA, and you're able to run it through the pineal gland, the center of the brain. But people on Earth don't realize that what they're using as an imagination to go to the store isn't coming from here. It doesn't come from here at all. They get that all wrong. No imagination comes from the human brain. It's not designed to do that. Brain cells over here can't act like a motion picture camera and project images on a screen somewhere over in the other part of your brain. What people are not understanding is when they daydream and imagine going somewhere and the body follows, but not before the imagination happens first. It's not coming from here. It's coming from you looking into the pure hue that surrounds the Earth through the atmosphere and is out in space and through the dimensions. And it's you looking into that kind of energy. And that energy is not nuclear or atomic. It's not radioactive. There's no molecules, no protons, no neutrons, no gamma rays or X-rays or speed of light or any of that in the hue itself. That is the omnipresent power, the living energy that supports little things that spin on axes and float in it. That black area in space that you see in a Hubble Space Telescope image, it's not black to you when we're out of body, outside the Earth's negatively impacted atmosphere. Everything that was ever been done by people to people on this planet, animals, plants, killing each other, tyrants, countries coming and going, Rome rising and falling, and all these things, is still recorded in the atmosphere itself, going back 65 million years to the time the dinosaurs were made extinct. And this planet was colonized from other worlds. Where is all that missing history? You were part of it. See, this work is about recovering who you are. This was never made in the image of the source, what people call the Supreme Being. This was the spherical you. The one with the white core and the different layers of teardrop lights, with the golden exterior, the one that's on the front cover of the Emerald Doorway book. That is what you look like as a being. It's identical to the source, the ancient one, prime creator. It's just bigger. And we can go and merge right into that source and remain individuals. We're supposed to be returning to that source. But people aren't doing it in the lower universe. It's a stuck place. It's a failed experiment. The lower worlds of time and space are set up to trap beings so they can't even remember how to get out of here. They're supposed to come down in here, have experience, get new insights, and go back home and deliver that so that Source collectively can change things to make them run better than they are now. So what's underway for the first time with the new ray or the new consciousness running through the hue is something that's never existed before in the entire history of the multidimensional creation. What we could say is the failed experiment of good and evil is being retired. It has to be replaced with something that works. This is telepathic. This means while we're on this journey, before we actually go out in space, there are beings working with you right now in your room. Chantal and Tony Tall are standing beside you. They're about 6 feet tall, so. But the body forms that I'll describe for you are human, about 36, flawless, beautiful, handsome. Both of them. Slightly bigger eyes than humans, hair to their shoulders, very lovely. And they're showing you an energy form of the bodies they actually have aboard a ship out in space outside of Earth's atmosphere right now. They know how to leave their bodies. They know they're not their bodies. So what they're doing is keeping your secondary and primary implants that would terrorize you from going forward in this journey turned off. They do that so you can go up there and gain some real experience. We'll get those 3 secondary implants removed. And those things contain terror, torture, and death. But they aren't your experiences. It's how diabolically clever that is. And they usually look like something beautiful that if you became conscious of them, you wouldn't want to get rid of them. See the problem? So, when they're gone, the primary implant remains. This was put in you before you were born by diabolical beings. Everybody on Earth had it done to them. It's part of, let's just say there was a great war 500,000 years ago in our galaxy that came to an end and the bad guys were defeated. But they still run around in secret terrorizing and capturing people and doing all kinds of nasty stuff. That has been stopped. There are no little grays in our solar system abducting people anymore. There haven't been for 25 years. Reptilians that were underground that got snuck into our bases and got in control People in the classified communities didn't know how to get rid of them because of the misuse of technology they did on them, particularly primary implantation. They were removed and sent outside of our solar system, but not by us, not by classified people, not by Earth people. So our solar system is quarantined, not by us. They're not going to have a Star Trek future like you see in Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek. There's never going to be any radioactive warp cores that dart ships beyond the speed of light out in space. The beings from other worlds do not use radioactive materials that are harmful to life, ever. They're outlawed. They don't make nuclear bombs. They have other weapons for defense, but they don't make those. So you see the problem that was first presented to leaders on this planet. Eisenhower was confronted, Truman as well, but Eisenhower in particular met with two different groups. One were totalitarian, by off-world treaty, and one were benevolent. At that time, scared the hell out of him. Even the good human ones, because their technology was so far beyond us. It's a 5-star general that led helped to win World War II, who became a president. He couldn't tell people what he was doing. They wanted people to be baby boomers and raise children and rebuild a damaged world after World War II. So 35 countries classified it higher than the nuclear bomb. Do not talk about extraterrestrials. Because then they couldn't assure people that they could protect them, because the technology is so far beyond them. They knew if they wanted to come down and take us over, they could do it in 10 minutes. And they knew it then. Scared them. Certain beings offered those leaders the transformation of this planet at that time. There was one requirement. They had to remove and get rid of all nuclear weapons, all radioactive materials, and be given a limitless power source that doesn't have that kind of characteristic. Imbalanced isotopes are artificially created by people, using technology that is outlawed to be used outside of this planet, that was snuck in illegally and given to the Nazis. Now you begin to understand a bigger picture of what really happened and why they seem to be more intelligent. They weren't. So, when World War II ended, the Nazis who were pardoned, who had murdered many people, were SS officers, faithful worshippers of Hitler, were brought into the Soviet Union, United States, and pardoned and put in the head of space programs. You know what came with them? These little grays. That's how they got into bases, and that's where the problem was. So that was the biggest mistake anybody ever made. And of course, they were being inspired not to give up nuclear weapons, not to give up their radioactive material experiments by things that they didn't even understand. It was being done to them subconsciously. Again, it wasn't people on Earth that solved the problem. The little implants people talked about for so many years that were little electronic chips under the skin or the back of the neck were developed on Earth by classified scientists to try to undo what was done to them. And they did do some diabolical things and experimenting on people without their will to try to figure out what would work. It didn't work. Implants aren't in the skin or in the body. They're more diabolical than that. So the removal of these influences on Earth didn't take place because of the good intentions of leaders of countries. It was done despite what they would not do. At least it gives us the opportunity to not be influenced by those things. The implantations still remain in people on Earth. So they still make decisions based on subconscious programs that are full of fear and torture and death. And they're making decisions every day around the world, which is why you see the world like it is. I have to laugh because it's so ridiculous how unconscious people are, how deeply they are suffering from an amnesia they don't even know they have. So we're going on this journey outside of the negatively programmed atmosphere of Earth, because all those negative things cannot leave the atmosphere. They do not go out in space. Space, the energy that makes up space, the hue, does not accept them. You can't put that stuff there. That area in space that looks like a blackness in a Hubble Space Telescope picture is actually a white golden light. When you're out of your body, you can see it. Human eyes don't have a high enough band of frequency to see that high. So, I have to turn off the volume on that thing. Pardon me. I just want to turn off the volume on this silly phone. Thank you. Make sure that doesn't interrupt us. When you go outside of the atmosphere, then you're in the pure hue itself. And that hue that appears like a white golden light there gets brighter and deeper and more wonderful the further up the dimensions we go. But it's still one power, one first sound, one first living energy behind everything. Galaxies spin on their axis, creating an electromagnetic field, what we call a toroidal or zero-point field. An electromagnetic field. It's made of the hue. And it keeps that thing floating in this vast energy field, all in balance with each other. Planet Earth has its own electromagnetic field around it, coming out the North Pole and in the South. Your body has the same field around it. It's not a little aura of colors like psychics think right close to the body. That's not it at all. It's bigger than that. And with you hovering near the ceiling or just above your head 3 or 4 feet like you're doing right now, there's one around it too. Looks just like the one around the Earth because you're spherical. Planets and moons and suns and stars are round because they're made in the image of their creators. Which means you are made of an energy that existed before time and space was even built. So how old are you really? Interesting, isn't it? And the reason you nod and smile is because right now it's waking up and you know it's true. I don't have to convince you. It's just stuff you've been made to forget. You don't get much opportunity with people on Earth to get mirrored and wake this stuff up in this way, because it isn't taught on Earth. The most advanced gurus with lots of followers don't even know about the hue. There's a guru in India with lots of followers right now, a good person, dances around on a stage with hundreds of thousands of people below him. It's like worshiping someone. And he knows about 3 sounds that you can make with the human lips. Ah, oo, or om. That's mental plane. It's much further involved in here, but it's not across the void. He doesn't know that there's a 4th sound you can make with the lips without moving the tongue. Because that opens a different door. I wish I could go up and shake him and say, what about this sound? Because he doesn't know how to take people across the void. He can't. He doesn't know about it. Doesn't mean he's a bad person. No. It means he just doesn't yet know. So the reason that my work is not interfered with by classified people, men in black, they don't come to my door. They don't interrupt the satellite feed for this journey, is because what is being done is good for them too, and they know it, even if they fear it. They aren't my enemy. I don't make them my enemy. I don't make government leaders my enemy or religious leaders. That would be a waste of everybody's time. This is done as much for their benefit as yours. It's not biased or prejudiced or anything. It's because everybody on Earth has had this problem. They don't even know they have. This is a big issue. With that background being woken up telepathically as we're doing now, Chantal and Tonal, these tall people with these long hair to their shoulders and slightly bigger eyes than humans, are still standing beside you smiling. These are energy forms that look human, but they aren't matter, energy, space, and time. They're not DNA. They're not molecules. They're a projection of what they want to show you from the white core of the atma they are that's hovering above them in your room near the ceiling. They do this now because then you're prepared to have the negative things that could influence you turned off. So we can get out in space and you can objectively see with a body just like theirs that you know how to project, even though you don't remember. And that way you can see the atma you are and what's around it and how we take these secondary implants out. Well, how they do. This will be Shantial and Tonal Tial that do this, not me. Earth has not got a high enough vibration of energy coming into its atmosphere yet through people to where secondary and primary implants can be removed on Earth. There's not a single living person on the planet that can remove them, no matter what they tell you. It cannot be done by them. They still have implants themselves. It needs to be done by people who have never been born on Earth, who do not have subconscious minds at all, because their governments wouldn't tolerate that, and who don't have implants, who are hundreds of years old compared to an Earth person, and their bodies that they have look to be about 36 because the telomeres on the DNA do not shrink when the cells divide. This is just higher science. People on Earth could take advantage of this and be helped by this, but not the way we are now, not the way people are on Earth. Because they would take it and abuse it or destroy themselves with it because of subconscious things that still drive them. You see the problem? That's the problem. So the fears that people have on Earth need to be neutralized in some way so that they can have at least enough courage, biting their fingernails, to meet people when they land here. The energy coming through them will change everything. This is easy, effortless. The people's terror and fear and brainwashing and belief systems have locked them into a very closed space. And that tight knot needs to be undone very carefully. Not by me, but by billions of other beings that are trained to do it. Who else do you think can take care of 8 billion people on Earth? Me and Pari? No. Not possible. The reason we're going to stop these kinds of things you're privileged to go on, I'm privileged to guide them, is because, practically speaking, we can't do 10,000 people like this. There wouldn't be enough time in 50 years to one-on-one journey people like this. So we're going to go on group journeys where they get the benefit of connecting with Shantial and Tonal Tial and their associates that can work with you not just after the journey's done, but also every night when you leave your body, because every night you leave your body, whether you know it or not. Same thing happens when the body dies or stops working. You leave permanently, but it's what you've been doing your whole life. When you put the body to sleep in the trance state we call sleep, you leave it. That's why you're not conscious. The brain is just kept on automatic. It's not taking in light, it's not hearing anything, it's not getting information, so it's not going to be aware when you come back, unless you've awakened the ability to bring back awareness of where you go and download it into that field around your body, not in the brain. It won't fit there. It goes into a larger mind in that energy field made of the hue that surrounds you. Implants block your vision out into the hue so that when you look through it, your own energy turns on a program that is terrorizing but subconscious. And then it'll turn you away and you'll make decisions that will not lead to your awakening. You'll just stay on Earth, eating what you eat, living, dying, having kids, and then going to some heaven on faith. There is no such thing as a permanent heaven in the lower worlds of time and space that anybody can go to. There's a Buddhist heaven, a Christian heaven, a Muslim heaven, all up in these planes, causal and mental. But you can't stay there. Eventually, the hue will kick you out and put you back here. Because beings like that are like children. They haven't been trained, they aren't awake, they can't be trusted, channeling the greater hue for the benefit of all life. They're selfish and self-centered. They can't help it. It's fear that causes this. So these journeys are about helping you let go of fear. Fear of the present, fear of the future. What happens is the positive and negative you were channeling this way, starts to go like this, like the yin and yang symbol, with a white golden light around it, keeping them balanced, and then it comes through both to manifest. You don't get karma. You don't get the cause and effect of physics coming back on you in this way. That's normal. Okay. Imagine someone you love and respect, you're grateful they're in your life, a person, place, or thing, but something that makes you smile inside when you first picture it. Are we good so far for English and you everything's good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Otherwise Pari would have to step in, see. She gets to go on the
She can
journey.
come in with us.
Yeah, she gets to
She
go on
come
the
in with us.
Yeah,
Yes.
she'll get benefited too. It's all good. Imagine that. And then imagine, this is just daydreaming. Everybody knows how to daydream, but they have no clue what it is they're doing. If they knew what daydreaming was, they'd be free. They could go anywhere in creation, instantly on the hue, which is not limited by the speed of light, which is wrong, by the way. There is no limit to the speed of light. They got that wrong on Earth as well. You can go at any planet to any plane. The Atma can move on the current of the hue, the first sound, instantly anywhere. It can go the slow way, what we call out-of-body travel, and go in a ship and take a day to get to Jerusalem, far beyond the Pleiades in our galaxy. Or they can just go up through the planes where a ship can't travel, as the Atma. Advanced spacefaring races know how to do both. It is normal for them. We're just trying to get Earth people normal for the first time. One of the other things that happened recently was the stopping of all polar flips, which were cyclic. The last one occurred 100,000 years ago. If that had happened again, the continents we have now would sink and the oceans would rise up new ones. Everybody would be killed. That has been permanently stopped by beings that I haven't introduced many people to, called silent mentors or silent ones. They are the mechanics of creation. These beings are so advanced. They run the galaxies, the planets, the moons, the suns, the stars, the doorways between parallel and higher dimensions, all the way up through the void, up into the higher worlds, and they work nonstop. They don't get fatigued. They do not get tired. They do not sleep. They do not have physical bodies. The Galactic Alliance itself is just becoming, they knew of them, but they're becoming more aware of the reality of their existence. They're expanding and growing too. Imagine being near the ceiling looking down on your body. This is simple daydreaming. See, your body's already in the trance state called sleep. So is mine. I've been trained and have learned and have the wisdom to use this body to speak with you, to guide you, to keep you conscious on the journey so that your implants don't shut you down. You know, you go to sleep at night and wake up in the next day and you don't remember what happened. Well, that's not going to happen this time. This is different. Imagine being at 10,000 meters in the atmosphere above where you live, looking down on the city. Just imagine what it would look like from a plane or a helicopter hovering up there. You can look right down through the roof of your house and see yourself as a spherical radiant Atma hovering above your body. And this is you being above your body and you being at 10,000 meters as well, both simultaneously. Because as an Atma, you are multidimensional capable. It means as an Atma, not material energy, space, and time. You can be in more than one place at one time. Where you place your focus of attention determines which of this you look through. The one above your body or the one out 10,000 feet, 10,000 meters in the air. You'll notice that Shantial and Tonaltial, smiling in a Galactic Alliance single-piece form-fitting uniform, are standing to each side of you in space. And then you realize you're looking at your hands. You have a body like theirs. Perfect, flawless, trim, beautiful, about 36. It's made of energy. It's the image you show others. And it does have a human-like quality to it. But the real you, when you look up, is hovering there. That's the spherical you. It's also hovering about Shantial and Tonaltial as well. And next, you find yourself in space, and they're still standing to each side of you. But you're in a circle of beings, and there's Ambassador Turelian standing in the middle. And in the distance, you can see planet Earth with its polar ice caps, and its oceans, and its land masses, and a barren moon full of meteor craters that's going around the planet in orbit but does not turn on its axis at all, not a bit, which is most unnatural. And in the distance, the sun. And around you is a white golden light that appears black in Hubble Space Telescope images to human eyes on Earth, but it isn't. Even they know now, today, that zero-point or toroidal energy, the end of the universe, is not space junk, and it's not a vacuum. It's full of this energy that's a mystery to them. In the CERN Super Collider in Switzerland, they crash particles together at this near the speed of light, and then they can, when they crash, they can see behind things. So they're able to see this energy that's supporting all life. It is not atomic or nuclear. It does not obey the laws of physics. So they call it the God particle, because they don't know what else to do with it yet. Turelian's 18 foot tall. What he's doing is showing you a body form that he once had 1 billion Earth years ago. His whole race is 12-stranded DNA. We get our DNA and our genomes from them. They developed in ancient galactic and interdimensional history. These forms, greys, reptilians, all kinds of body forms, bipedal, that could brought them up to spacefaring capability and vanished. To step back and see what we would do with it. The bodies were developed in DNA form so that higher faculties of the Atma could be run through them, so people could have experience in the lower planes of time and space. It was an experiment. And when they came back and Turelian visited this Galactic Alliance Council on the planet Zetranami 1 near the galactic core of our Milky Way galaxy, it changed everyone there. 5,000 representative members. I was there. There's something happened that Turelian brought that began to bring about a change. I was involved in creating something different above the void with others to bring about this change, because I returned. I returned to the source, a place where this all began. You're still there. You've never left. The Atma can be in more than one place at one time. Remember I stated this clearly? So, awakening this fact in people on Earth is quite the challenge. They have no idea about any of it. And it conflicts with their belief systems, which don't allow them to know. So, this work is for the benefit of all people and things on Earth. Doesn't matter what religion they're in or what they believe. Belief has nothing to do with it. It has to do with them remembering what they are that cannot be killed. They call soul all the time, but they don't know what it is, what it looks like, or where it is. So they get confused and think they're a body and a brain and worry about it dying and all this stuff. These journeys create a scenario of changes that make it possible for you to not fear death. Number one. Now out in space, Turelian's showing you this 18-foot tall body with simple gown on. He's got long blonde hair, slightly wavy to his shoulders, and big crystal blue eyes, slightly pointed ears, not like Spock, just a little bit. About 36. He's massively taller than us. This is an energy form that he once had. The Sayres immortalized their bodies 1 billion years ago in a special way. They broke apart the bonds. They just took the hue and sent it in there, took apart the DNA and the genomes, stored the DNA pattern, 12 strands in one of the teardrops, in the yellow layer right next to the white core of their being. Now, when they want to use a body, because they don't have to move one around or go to the bathroom or feed it, they'll manifest a body form around this DNA pattern, and the hue just fills it in. And they could even touch you, or you could go up and touch their hand, which would be as big as your whole body. But they don't do that for people on Earth. They don't even do that for Galactic Alliance personnel. Their energy is too powerful. The volume of hue flowing through them is too great, and it would disintegrate people's bodies. So their mentors are the silent mentors, silent ones. That's who trains them. And silent ones do not interact with human beings or Atmas normally. They're too busy taking care of creation itself. This too is changing. So Terrellian, if you look above his head, he's smiling at you. He has two thumbs up with this golden light around his hands. Now what this is the hue coming from Satnam's realm above the void, the first realm of the Atma plane. He gets it from the fountain there, and he brings it down here and puts it out through us. And it's just a higher, brighter form of the hue than what's in space. Still the hue. And in this way, there is no negative nature in the lower worlds of time and space that can even approach us. They can't even see us. They can't detect us. Completely safe out here. We don't feel cold. We don't feel heat. We do not feel radiation from the sun. We are energy beings. We aren't even the energy that makes up the explosions on a sun. We are higher, deeper, wider, purer energy than that. And we come originally from the source itself. The lower worlds of time and space were built to be finished and fixed. The upper realities aren't, because experimentation is always going on there. As rarely as it is, when beings finally make it across the void and come home to fulfill their commission, to fulfill their destiny to be conscious co-creators with the source, when someone does that, things change forever. Very rarely is it done, and this is a problem. You might say that the source or prime creator has trapped itself, maybe half of it in the lower worlds. Maybe not, but it's enough so that things remain like they are and do not change. The hue expansion ray that was created in the upper worlds, that moves down through Satnam and into these worlds and through Terrellian, myself and others now, only works one way. It cannot be reversed. And it's moving through our galaxy and through our solar system as we speak. And through you. It's designed to, of course, retire implants and liberate all the turned off, dormant higher faculties of being that got shut down by you over billions of years of lives and deaths and fear and pain, even beyond the primary implant. So much needs to be recovered that is just simply not on because you don't give it any energy. You're not aware of it. You don't look at them. When you put your attention on one of these faculties, it turns it on. It's also what turns on the implants, which are negative. So becoming aware and masterful of the use of the creative imagination, which means your ability to see into the multidimensional universe, plug into the hue that is the intelligence in it, and know things. Know things with certainty. No doubt, no fear, no speculation, no debate, no argument, no faith, no belief, knowing. Good faith should lead to direct experience, or it's just trapping people. And not just on this level, astral, causal, mental, and etheric as well. All of that is beginning to wake up. You're running a body right now on each one of those planes, living a different life than you have there. Higher energy means longer life, more abilities, astral certainly, but all emotion comes from the astral plane, the form you have there, affecting your life here. And if you're not aware of this, and your so-called higher selves are not awake and helping you, then you're in trouble, like most of the people on Earth are. When we go on the journeys, not the secondary implant thing we're doing now, when we go on those journeys, we go out into the multiverse, and often we go across the void into the upper realities to be free of all negative nature. By plugging into that, it begins to awaken in the Atma. And when you return to your body forms, down through the etheric, mental, causal, astral, and physical, it begins to wake them up to work with each other. This is part of the process. You don't have to figure out how it works. It's beyond me. It's in the hands of the hue itself. Prime creator, source. People like Turelian and Satnam. Master teachers like Ramu and Opelam, who are here in a circle standing around us. Etta and Din, they aren't even human. They're Drens. These are my best buddies. I love these two. They're silica-based. They evolved on Oceania, where Opelam comes from, clear across the galaxy, in the third higher parallel dimension of the physical universe. There are 144 levels to that. It's just mind-bogglingly big. There's 144 levels to the astral plane, like lower astral, very dark and negative, upper astral, etc. These are separated levels of different molecular time rates of matter that the hue supports on these different levels. We are made of the hue. So naturally we can move through all those levels as the hue in the hue. The first sound. It's hidden in the first half of the word human. When you look out in space, there are a number of almost 48 different master teacher beings, men and women, all about 36-ish looking, with an Atma hovering above the energy forms they're showing. They are from different world systems in the Galactic Alliance. They are also from different dimensions below the void. Some of them reside in the upper realities only, like Satnam, and you can see him hovering up above Turelian. There's a doorway open in space and time, and you can see the Hue Expansionary Academy hovering up there. And just below it is this fountain in his garden, in the Atma plane. And then
you're removing implants then?
We're doing that now. When you look out in space, you see a ship hovering there, a single ship, 30 feet across. There's a blue anti-gravitic light around it. You can see through it and see 4 couples. 3 of them standing around a semicircular crystalline control board, and 2 sitting in the back with their heads tucked down, asleep. This is Shantiel and Tonaltiel standing beside you, and they're pointing upward and further out in space, and you see the spherical Atma you are, just like on the front of the Emerald Dory book, and then you see this electromagnetic field around it. There are 3 objects in that are going to be taken out by them. There are usually 3 in a triangular pattern out in the energy field, not inside the Atma. The Atma cannot have negative things put in it, but it can be surrounded by them to trick you and fool you into not knowing or remembering. Those 3 are on a level field. There's one behind you on the back side of that energy field that comes out the top of the white sphere of your being. It's on the outside of the Atma, outside of the violet layer, outside the gold layer, outside. And there's 2, one on the left front near the equator of your being, and one on the right. So that's like on a horizontal level. The one behind, you can see Shantiel and Tonaltiel, and the Atmas, they are moving around to it. And they're showing it to you so you can see right through your being and see what it is. It's about a foot-long object in the way of this energy field that should be clear and moving. This is a series of glass bells. I've seen these before, but you have a big one and a number of little ones in a circle. And they make a beautiful sound, harmonious sound together. And there's a golden energy around them. But you don't want them there, as pretty as they are. Because in there is torture, death, and intimidation, like we'll kill you, we'll eat you, if you try to remember. These are not your memories. They are artificial and implanted to kind of hold down the primary one. We'll get to that. So you're going to see Shantiel and Tonaltiel move into this energy field and move this thing outside of it. They're each kind of holding it in their four hands. The Atma's hovering above them. And then their hands just come together and it disintegrates into white golden light. And their hands part and it is gone. The energy pole where it is has been smoothed over. So when you look out of your being now into the multidimensional universe through that doorway, that direction, there's no blockage. Nothing to influence your ability to know. There's another one to the left side. It's like on a horizontal plane, just outside of the energy field around the white core of your being. It's outside the Atma. And there's one on the right side, and they're now moving into this one. And you can see that it looks like a giant silver tree with a river winding around each side of its trunks and going out to a beautiful ocean. Very pretty scene. Now this is the tree of life from the upper realities. So why would you get rid of it? It's just something tyrants heard about. They don't know what it is. They just use it to try to fool you. This is not the real tree. This is a holographic image. It contains torture, terror, and death. It's not your memory. Behind it, you can see the tree. They've got their right hands up, and you can see the tree dissolve, and that beautiful scene become a spherical cube of light with all kinds of nasty stuff in it. They don't need to review what's in it. It's not yours anyway. So they both lean forward and breathe a white golden light out of their mouths, and it dissolves back into the pure hue that surrounds us. And then that hole is filled. They move over to the right side of your being. And there's one more that surrounds the energy of the being you are out in the toroidal or zero-point or electromagnetic field. It looks like you're sitting at a park bench, like in a camping trip. And you've got clothes on like that, and you're sitting down having a cup of tea, and there are children running in the field. And there's a beautiful river. It's another one of these scenes you wouldn't want to get rid of, even if you were conscious of it. But it just contains junk behind the illusion. Shantial and Tonaltial simply look at it. They don't even approach it. And it fades into nothing, into the hue. It's turned into pure hue. And then this energy field that surrounds you now is clear. The primary implant is up above the pole in the north and southern points. It cannot be removed on Earth while you're on Earth at this time. That's done aboard the Emerald Star Cruiser or another planet until Earth is a higher frequency, because they're designed, if you try to remove them, they would kill your body on Earth. So we don't remove them now. A certain kind of precautions and preparation has to come about, but you can go on a journey to see what's in it, with protected, and they're terrorizing, because the primary implant contains what was actually done to you. Not a pretty picture. But once it's reviewed, it's memory. It no longer has its effect upon you, and other faculties awaken. This is already underway. When you come back to your body on Earth, Shantial and Tonaltial and their many associates will be available to you every night. When you go into contemplation, when you go into the hue, one of the techniques from the book are you just do it. You ask these beings for assistance. You respectfully ask Satnam to guide them. This will happen. So that you do a little work on your own every night to get their further ongoing assistance. Remember what I said, that this process is permanent. It cannot be reversed. It's one way. And in the hue, when you're connected into it now, it's taking you in an upward spiral. Gradually, practically, so that your outer life remains balanced while you're waking up. waking up to who you are and what you once knew with certainty. This is not about becoming enlightened and receiving some higher powers. You've already got all those abilities that were dormant. This process begins to turn them on. For you, thank these people. Don't worship them. Just respect them. Me, Pari, it's fine. And Ramu and Etta and Din and Opelum and Ambassador Trellian and Satnam, silent mentors, even if you don't know who they are, Galactic Alliance personnel aboard the ship, Shantial and Tonatial, and then find yourself hovering above your head back on Earth. Now you're looking down at your body, and this white shaft of golden light is coming down from the hands of Terrellian, right from this light around his hands, up through Satnam, up to that fountain in his garden. It's a statue of him in it for a reason. It's a device. And then it's coming down through the electromagnetic field around your being that's clear now. And they were in the electromagnetic field around your body, but they were taken out at the same time they were taken out up in space by the same two people. And the energy moves through this field, and you are bringing the awareness of this journey, storing it out in the electromagnetic field that surrounds the body, not in your brain. The brain isn't designed to handle multidimensional wisdom or knowledge. And then the energy of the hue goes out through the planet to 3 pyramids, 2 in the bottom of Earth's deepest oceans, 1 in the hollowed-out interior of a mountain in the Himalayas, out into the bigger one in the asteroid field, and into the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and right up the golden white shaft of light that is its pole. And it returns to source, and it never stops moving. This is what the symbol of infinity, like an 8, means. And so, when you're ready, open your eyes. And that is how this is done. Not by me. I just know how to guide people to see things they've long forgotten how to see. It's good stuff. And it's permanent. Been my privilege to guide you. Any questions?
Thank you.
It's quite an experience, really, isn't it? You'll see.
Yeah.
When you walk around, you're just going to know more and be able to comprehend more about the Savior's Agenda book, for instance. We're still working to find the right translator. I just had to fire a company in Italy because they weren't giving us the quality we needed, starting at the beginning of it, and we just weren't going to go there. So we'll put that on hold for a little while till we can get through these secondary implant removal journeys, and then I'm working trying to find a couple other companies, and maybe we can find someone with a real book translation experience. You got to watch it with companies on this planet. They like to fool people for money. You have to be careful. Okay. Any questions?
Do I need to do again?
Yes. And I was going to bring that up, but I thought you might have other questions. But anyway, you should do this again in a couple of days. You know, when you're rested, you get a cup of tea, not interrupted by kids or husbands or phones, just by yourself, give yourself an hour or two, and then go on the journey again. You'll find a lot happened, and you'll remember more clearly and understand better the second time. Okay? Any questions?
And I have to go on the journey. Do I need to take any journey?
We recommend you to go on the group journey to gain
Yeah.
more experience of awakening.
Many of your higher faculties that are dormant, that don't have to do with implants, are just turned off. They get awakened as you go on these journeys further out into the cosmos. The fact is that it's required that we know the life out in the multidimensional creation and respect it in order to go across the void and in order to become co-creators. We have to be responsible. Total freedom comes with total responsibility. They're blended. Cannot be acquired any other way. The hue cannot be fooled, prayed to, or tricked. It knows exactly how to train you through whoever it works through. The difference is it's now connected to you to help continue your journey back home. You're meant to become a co-creator with the source. This stilted, stopped process for billions of years is now being corrected, undone. I hope that's clear. Yes?
Yeah.
It's up to you. When you go on the group journeys, they're like 2.5 hours. We go lots of places. We really get people expanding their imagination back again out into the multiverse where they're supposed to be playing anyway. Just because you have a body on Earth doesn't mean you should be limited from visiting other planets. Going on a retreat on the weekend, or on a school retreat with kids going to other worlds, or you going to higher dimensions. This is what we're supposed to be doing when we're normal. It's your right to have this. So, my privilege. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for your help.
Oh, no worries. I'm going to stop this recording now.